me! What's your deal, young lady? Or old woman? I genuinely don't know. We'll probably find out.
Let me see... Okay, let's get going. The next location on my list is really far away.
We will probably finally find out if she's, actually 100 years old, or if she's just Chuny. My money is on she's just Chuny. But we'll see.
Even though most of the Academia's restrictions have significantly relaxed, I'm still a bit worried that the Matra might give her trouble. I need to stay here to keep an eye on the situation. Kale, can you head to Sumeru City and find out why she isn't here yet?
Does it have to be me?
I'd only assign a job this important to someone I trust. Are you not feeling well?
Oh no, I'm fine. I've completely recovered. It's just that if I'm going to see her,
After this, I'm all caught up on gashas. I'm caught up on the Hoyo gashas.
First.
I know.
Again, I want to catch up on Arknight's
You'll have a tough
story,
time if you go by yourself.
since I'm currently
If we
literally
could
locked out of getting certain
arrange for
materials until I
someone
catch
to
up on it.
accompany you.
But the predicament. Also, neither of you are Hatsune Miku.
Oh, hey there!
It's been a while. What a coincidence. I was just thinking about asking you to accompany Kale to Sumeru City.
These are both very rude. This one less so.
Sorry, that's not what I meant. It's just that this matter concerns research banned by the Academia. Not the sort of thing you'd shout from the rooftops. Also, you happen to know about this situation. There are very few people I can trust to be discreet right now. After giving it much thought, I believe you're the most suitable person for this task.
Also, don't mind me, I'm trying to find my place, and I can't actually, as far as I can tell, this one's just not included.
It's complicated, and this isn't the best place to talk about it. We'll fill you in on the details once she arrives.
Who is she?
You might have heard about her in Sumeru before. Her name is Farazan, and she's a very experienced senior researcher. Let's just say that a huge part of Kasharawar's mechanical research over the past 100 years has used her academic discourse and manuscripts as their foundation. She is, but she vanished for 100 years because of a certain incident. She only returned to the Academia after being found in the wilderness a few years ago.
Okay.
Because of that, her current personality
So
can
she,
be a bit
so she is that old,
strange.
but she spent a good chunk
as
of
is
it
her
in, like,
attitude towards
cryostasis or something.
I'm getting a headache just thinking about it.
She doesn't have bad intentions, so you don't have to be scared.
I'll try.
Yes. Kasharawar and Spontamod researchers are often quite prejudiced, so I can't trust them with this matter. However, Farazan isn't influenced by modern thinking. In our previous correspondence through letters, she indicated that she'd be willing to help. It's already past our arranged meeting time, but she still hasn't shown up. I don't think so. With her personality, it's more likely that she got wrapped up in some sort of trouble. Anyway, can you go with Kale to the Academia
Trying to
and
get the
check
batting
on
return to a
Farazan for
monster and
me?
eat everyone. You don't! Or maybe you do.
Thank goodness. I was so anxious.
I'm counting on you two.
That's the neat part.
Kale,
You don't!
don't push yourself too hard. Just go there and see what's going on. Our task is important, but not that urgent. If Farazan really is in some trouble, come back and tell me about it. We can always reschedule our meeting. After all, if she's distracted by other things, it'll affect her ability to help us.
All right, let's go.
hopefully those answers didn't matter. Considering I'm not even talking to her yet. They do not seem to be included in, the guide Secret gave me.
Sorry, what did you say?
Oh boy.
Could you repeat yourself? As you know, I'm sure, hearing goes with age.
Farzan, I said that you need to give us an answer.
Okay, so she is also Chuny.
Yes. And did you forget to add madam when you addressed me earlier?
Your hearing is perfectly fine. Madam Farzan, we don't want to make things difficult for you. However, you
Except
haven't
you
been
can't
teaching
even turn into
courses
an
or
eldritch
supervising
being.
theses these
I mean,
past
hold
few
that
years.
thought.
Isn't this rather problematic as an advisor? Never
Put a
mind
pin
the
in
students. Even other
That's a thing
advisors
that
are
could
starting to
happen
complain.
knowing these games.
And who, if I
Just
may
not
ask,
in a
complain?
hangout event.
If they have any issue with me, tell them to talk to me themselves rather than waste any of your time. You don't have to tell me anything. I very well know that it's those people from Haravatat. How I wish they'd put their time into doing proper research instead.
But, Madam Farzan, it has been a long while since you last made any practical academic contribution yourself.
Academic contribution cannot simply be divided between the tangible and the intangible. The issue here, I believe, is that the reviewer doesn't understand the very nature of knowledge itself. In any
The
case,
El Muerto
it makes no
movie
sense to
might
use a
get
metric like this to
canceled.
evaluate a
Oh,
mentor.
no!
Which sage
Not
set this
El
rule anyway?
Muerto!
I should write a letter of complaint right this instant.
Who's El Muerto?
Wait! Madam Farzan, please let me finish.
That's her, all right. But the person with her doesn't look like a Matra.
That's Spanish for the Muerto.
Shh! She hates it when people call her young. Her body apparently stopped aging during the year she was gone. So that's why she looks the same as she did 100 years ago.
Did they drill holes in her brain?
Okay.
A Beyond
think I'm
D-list
ready for this.
Spider-Man
Let's go.
villain.
Anyway,
Spider-Man
Akara
villain that
Crafts
appeared
and the leader of
once.
Kasharawar would like to invite you to
Outstanding.
collaborate on this project. They're wondering if you'd be interested.
Not
Madam
Spanish
Farzan?
Morpheus.
Are you listening?
¿Dónde está?
Ah, Kale. Why are you here at the Academia? Are you feeling better now? I'm much better, Madam Farzan. It's all thanks to the Traveler and the Dendro Archon. Have you been sleeping well? You seem to be developing some eye bags. Is that brat Tainari forcing you to stay up late again? No, it's because I'm a slow learner. It's not Master's fault. It's good to be hardworking, but you need to take care of your health. I'll have to give Tainari a right talking to when I see him. I'll also prepare some health supplements for you. There's really no need. Ah, and is the person beside you the legendary Traveler?
Pleased to meet you, Madame Farzan. I'm coping.
Oh, I've heard much about you before. In fact, I've been meaning to meet you for a while now. It is thanks to you, after all, that the Academia is finally getting back on its feet. Even Kali's illness is...
Ahem. Madam Farzan, I believe we were still discussing the collaboration with Akara Crafts.
I'd wager it's those Kasharawar Dunderheads finding excuses so that I'd go to their Darshan. Say no more. I have no plans to change my field of research.
If you're this unwilling to participate in the collaborative project, you can also consider teaching a class. It might be difficult to teach a course with topics that only fall within Haravatat's subjects.
That's an alright
but we
poster.
can't delay this anymore. You need to give an answer.
It's definitely like you said, very modern movie poster. At some point, poster designers for like big budget movies realized how color contrast works, and then just kind of never stopped exploiting it. Unfortunately, they also never learned how to do it for any colors that aren't blue and orange. Nobody ever bothered to tell them that it also works with purple and chartreuse, or teal, or red and green, or many other things. It happens.
You can teach a course or participate in a collaborative project. If you don't do either, it'll be
Same
hard
thing
for
with
me
the
to
contrast,
persuade
but
the
that one does
advisors
look
and
cool.
students who have been complaining.
This sounds like an internal dispute.
Could you not give me a few more days to consider?
I hate internal
This
disputes.
matter has been delayed for so long already.
That's precisely the issue. If you don't give an answer today, I fear that someone will soon escalate their complaints to the sages.
I can't wait to the day the day P3R comes out to start streaming Portable, and yet include have the game category be for the new one. Everybody who comes in very confused. I'm just like, what? I'm playing the best version of the game.
What a waste of free time these folks are. Now,
Is that
you
not
two
what
are
just
here
came
at
out?
Kainari's behest, I take it. I'm sorry, but given the current situation, it looks like I'll have to come over some other day.
Deliberately open the emulation menu as often as possible yet. Give me a minute.
Of course. I shall need some time to think as well.
Would I try to do 4 first? Probably. Because 4 ain't getting that
No,
treatment anytime
she's
soon.
so busy. Master said there's no rush, but I know that he's been busy working on something at Paradise DI, so he hasn't returned to Gandharville for several days now. I feel for Madame Farazan, but I still want to ask her to come with us. But if I get her in trouble with the academia, then she won't have the time to help Master. What should I do? Oh, this is such a headache.
Let's help her resolve her current problem first.
Yeah, that would be the best for them both. I'll check with Master later and see if there's anything I can help him with. But I'm sure he'll say, the best thing you can do now is study hard, so I don't have to give you remedial lessons.
I'll stay and help.
Huh? Oh yes! This way she can get her problem sorted out quickly, and then she can go see Master. So if I also stay and help... that still sounds kinda scary.
Oh, hey, yep, sure enough. That also went ahead and leaked, apparently. Or no, that's an official thing, I think. Maybe. I can't tell. I can't tell if the new Yakuza also leaked or if that got formally announced. But looks neat. I assume I need to play Like a Dragon before I play its, side pool.
Okay then. I'm counting on you. Huh. I have to
But
teach
neat.
students from Haravatat, or owe Kasharawar a favor. It strikes me that they might be even less happy about such a deal than I am.
I think I can sympathize with them.
We're back, Madame Farazan. The Traveler said that she can stay and help you. Oh, why I couldn't ask for more. In fact, I'm rather curious about the type of person the Traveler is. You were the one who taught Azara a lesson after all. That said, will I be troubling you?
Nah, not at all.
Is that so? Good. It does so happen that I do have something I need help with. Now, should I apply to teach a course with Haravatat, or join the collaborative project that Kasharawar is proposing? Honestly, I don't want to choose either of them.
Tell me more about the Harabadabadabadabadab.
You might have heard of it before. Haravatat is an academic faction that researches languages and runes. 100 years ago, Madame Farazan was a researcher from that darshan.
Now, not was. Still am.
Yes, of course. But current Haravatat students can't really... understand her direction of research. So even if she opened a course, chances are that no one would attend.
In summary, I mean to interpret the configurations and solutions of ruin mechanisms via the deciphering of on-site stone carvings and unearthed documents. It'll include research into general documents dealing with such ancient machines.
The research method is supported by Haravatat, yes, but the content deals heavily with both ruins and mechanisms. This will make it difficult for students of this darshan because they don't understand much about mechanisms. Also, there are fewer and fewer unexplored ruins left nowadays, and Ksharuar researchers have been developing their own theories on mechanisms. As such, they don't need to rely on ancient documents.
So it's a sunset industry.
They're far too complacent. Ancient mechanisms are more dangerous and complex than one might imagine. I'm telling you, things weren't like this 100 years ago. All researchers back then were interested in exploring knowledge from a variety of topics. They also gave more respect to unknown mechanisms.
I'm sorry. I just saw the tweet from Chris Wolfhard. Man, I can't wait to hear Johnny Young Bosch's Junpei. Kill me! I love Johnny, but
Nowadays, all people are interested in are mainstream subjects in popular research. Even if they attended my course, I wouldn't be interested in teaching them. Also, the people here think that my research is outdated and unrealistic, so they keep cutting my funding. Why, I think they could all stand to learn from Kale. She's a hard-working child and respects her elders. Huh?
Wrong emo.
Why me? Ah, if only those who came to my lectures were
There
more
we
like
go.
you. Speaking of which, are you feeling better? You don't have to confine yourself to Gandharvaville anymore, right? I just remembered that I have a lot of studying to do. I need to head back and find Master.
Shoot, lost my place. Kale needs to learn how to read.
Are you telling me to start a reading course for Kale?
Everyone else would reprise their roles. Fuka will definitely no longer be the enemy. Like they will definitely not get her back. She's been Fuka has been replaced with Wendy Lee in literally every subsequent appearance. They'll probably get her instead. I guess Karen Strauss, she's hashtag problematic now because of the NFT bullshit. I believe that's why she was replaced as Anna for Engage. I don't know if Atlas gives enough of a shit about that or not, considering Atlas seems like the type to encourage NFTs, quite frankly. So I don't know if that'll be enough to get her can. She might stay. And, what else? They should be able to get everyone back. Liam O'Brien seems like he doesn't do as much these days, but I don't think it's because he's too expensive or whatever. I think he's just does more, like, teaching stuff these days, but we'll see.
Huh?
Wait. Although Tainari has academic dealings with the academia,
I won't
he
see, 'cause
isn't
I'm not playing
considered
it.
part of it.
But everyone else
This means
will see.
that Kale isn't technically a student.
You doubt that could be the reason maybe Karen just couldn't pull off that voice. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, would you say Monica Rial pulls off that voice? I like Monica Rial just fine, but her young Anna voice, I don't know about that one.
No, she's right. The old academia became consumed
Yeah, I don't
by
know.
their arrogance precisely because they ignored the public.
I don't believe
There must surely be
Karen's
many
been
people
like
like
fully
Kale and
canceled
Sumeru who are
to the
passionate
degree
about
that
learning,
that
but
Vic
cannot
was.
study due to various reasons. The old academia paid no heed to them.
Not
But
sure if
if I
they'd
start
bother
a reading course
recasting
for
her or
Kale
not.
as a pilot, perhaps this shall come to benefit many more people in the future.
I'll need to go back and ask if this is in accordance with regulations.
Oh, save yourself the extra trouble. I'll come with you. If there's any arguments to be had, we shall sweep them aside together. Traveler, Kale, do wait for us a little while outside the academia. I'll be back in just a moment. Wait! Let's catch up with her.
I think I forget. I can never find a source because I think T3's original cast was uncredited. I think Ken's voice changed at some point. I'm pretty sure Ken was not always voiced by Cindy Robinson. But don't quote me on that. Because, yeah, I believe P3's voice cast went uncredited. It's just that most of them were, you know, obvious.
I can't believe she rushed right in after we arrived. She's really headstrong. Oh, how did things turn out like this?
Did I give her a bad idea?
No, not really. Madame Farazan is a brilliant scholar. Even Master thinks so. If she's really going to teach me how to read, it'll definitely be much better than me bashing my head against the wall. It's just that she can get a bit too passionate sometimes. I don't know how to handle that.
The way she treats...
Maybe it's because she wants to take me in as a student? It's just like that researcher said. The academia has completely changed during the 100 years that Farazan was gone. I don't really get it, but it does seem like Haravatat's students aren't optimistic about the prospects of doing research with her. Students who are interested in mechanisms and applications of the elements generally enroll in Kasharawar and Spontamod. Madame Farazan also refuses to accept random students just to make up numbers. She still hasn't found a student she likes, even after all this time back.
A teacher with no students, so she's not a teacher.
But she seems to like my attitude toward learning, so she often asks me if I'm willing to become her student. It's because I'm a slow learner that I have no choice but to stay up late and study. Whenever she compliments me, I feel really guilty.
So you're scared of her because she keeps asking you to be your student.
It's not that. Madame Farazan respects my choices. She hasn't been trying to persuade me, especially since she knows I need to rest and recuperate. She sometimes brings food to Gandharvaville for me, and each time she says that Master can't find out.
Total grandma.
Now that you mention it, it does feel a bit like that. Do I really look that young?
Kale, Traveler, thank you for waiting. The issue has been resolved. I argued with the higher-ups and convinced them of the practicality and necessity of educating the general public. If I'm not mistaken, they're the students of my classmates' students. They're a lot less forceful than their predecessors, though. I'd say they caved rather quickly.
Amazing.
Were they convinced or were they coerced?
It's just that we need to fill in every single page of the application. It's been a century, but the academia is as picky as ever. Let's see now. What do we need to fill in? Course name, learning objectives, teaching methods, course materials. I suppose we can fill in the course name last. That's a bit too general, I'd say. After all, this class's target audience isn't toddlers or children, but rather people who already know the basics of reading. As such, we'll need a more specific learning objective. How about proficiency in reading and writing?
That's true. If we use children's teaching materials, we'll only end up wasting a lot of time on things that students would already know.
And you have your job as a forest ranger, Kale. People who attend this course in the future are also likely to have life commitments. We need more effective teaching methods.
What does Mona use to see into the future? Astrology, right? I don't think she uses, like, any kind of device. It's just magic. She makes her little circles and they show her things. What other learning methods does Kale use? Has she tried watching a lot of TV?
Master always tells me that practice is the best way to learn. That's why I often ask him to help me find simple books to read.
It must have been difficult to get books in Sumeru in recent years, no? Tighnari really went the extra mile for you. Expanding literacy is a capital notion. Now that the academia is easing restrictions on the circulation of books, there should be more people who have become interested in reading. It's a great time to conduct this course.
Got your methods all sorted out.
So that's next on the list. I fear that I'm at a loss as to which books youngsters like nowadays. Would The Legend of Antara be too old of a story?
How old is that story?
Fair. Kale, what have you been reading lately?
Me?
Blairy
I've been
Blotter.
reading light novels from Inazuma. I heard that ever since we were allowed to sell books in Sumeru again, some people set up stalls at Treasure Street to sell light novels. I've been meaning to go there and check it out.
Light novels? This is my first time hearing about such a thing, but I doubt I will procure suitable teaching materials from the House of Dana. Treasure Street it is.
Wait for us, Madame Farazan. You wouldn't think someone as fast as her is over 100. Let's pick up the pace and catch up to her.
She hasn't aged! She was in
What a
cryo
long and mildly
Her bones are
ungrammatical
fine.
title. And why is the cover so colorful?
Yeah! We're doing this bit again! I'm not even mad, because I agree.
Is this your first time seeing a light novel, ma'am? Oh, they're the most popular of books nowadays. Would you like me to recommend something?
Fine. One shouldn't judge a book by its cover
Found
after all.
Mona Lore in Space China?
Maybe
What the
browse
fuck?
through the books here.
Of course. Why don't you try this one? It's Outlander Brigade, When the Wind of Death Blew Towards the Blonde Samurai.
I heard that this book's author describes action in vivid detail.
Now I've only skimmed through a few pages, but it feels like it's all fight scenes. There are only subjects and predicates, and the syntax is a tad simple.
Subjects? Predicates?
The protagonist just ends up fighting in every scene with no proper build-up. Can anyone even enjoy a story that's only comprised of fights?
Me with newer Jujutsu Kaisen chapters. Oh dear. It's for people who watch Naruto.
How about... the good thing about being reincarnated as a hilly churl is that I only need to eat Sunsetias to become stronger.
Shut the fuck up! We
The
did this
reincarnation
already with
isekai
Raiden's
story?
Quest.
Those are pretty popular right now.
Isekai? What in the world is that? Also, why does it become stronger by eating Sunsetias?
Because Popeye the Sailor Man is really big in this world. Also, they actually use the word isekai. I'm gonna stab myself in the face with a soldering iron.
Tropes? Ah, those fictional rules used to push the plot forward, yes? They're definitely effective in achieving a distancing effect.
Too ridiculous. We need to develop one that covers everyone's use cases. Yeah. Yeah, no. That's like I made a tweet about it where that was basically the long and short of it. Like, yeah, just again, I'm so glad that we've spent a decade at this point arguing about which version is best. Just for Atlas to throw more fuel into the fire instead of actually fucking fixing anything.
Sorry. What is this distancing effect?
However, this book doesn't explain how reincarnation correlates to becoming stronger. Such an illogical rule will affect the coherence of the story. Will readers really accept this?
It's like that time the O's 10th anniversary movie, you know, the one that doesn't exist, gave Eiji a new Tajador variant. Because people had already argued enough about Tajador and Puto Terra. Now we also have a third one of them. You know that talking that goes down on the show till you're wrong, speak down. What, Naruto? They talk sometimes, I guess. It's just that they always said really stupid shit and I tuned it out. It's for readers who don't care about logic.
How about this? I had to fight tooth and nail to get this in stock.
Oh, that's the latest volume of Onibudo!
Now that's a rather normal title length. Oh, Kale, do you like this series?
Yes, but I don't like it that much.
Oh, she's being tsundere. What's the... Is it Ichi? Is she embarrassed to admit she likes Ichi? Kale, there's nothing wrong with it. There's a... Sure, it's embarrassing. Especially when you have to have your grandparents buy it for you. But trust me, they're not looking that close anyway. They'll never know. They'll never notice the gigantic titties on it.
Madam? Are you going to use this series as teaching material?
Totally
Let
not
me
me back in the
see.
day.
The dialogue
Buying,
flows quite well.
Buying deer.
But there are too many phrases here that I don't recognize. Third eye of perception, illusory mirror, and so on. Are these terms that are tied to tropes?
I also thought those names were strange when I was reading them.
Able to say them in such a serious tone.
It's impossible to derive the meaning of these phrases in isolation. Also, their morphological properties are quite pedestrian, really. Or did the protagonist purposely create these strange names to disorient their foes?
I think it's just because they sound cool, or are fancy.
So
or
there's
both.
no deeper purpose. Hi. It's quite hard to understand stories written these days.
You're right. It's such a weird book. But you keep wanting to read the next page.
Even the most popular book in Sumeru back then had greater depth than anything written today.
Back then?
A Bahumano researcher wrote it while researching folk legends. The plot had many twists. The world building was fantastic, and even the writing could withstand scrutiny. When it was still being published, many people in the academia were reading it. Even the sages back then all described the story as a
who
timeless
localized
classic.
this hangout? A
The series
Redditor.
must have concluded after so many years, right? Perhaps it's even more popular now.
Is there a book like that in Sumeru? I've never heard of such a thing before. What's the title?
It's called Tales of Shariar. Do you sell it here?
Tales of Shariar? I don't think I've heard of that before. When was it published?
About 100 years ago.
100 years ago? Are you pulling my leg? What sort of book can remain popular for 100 years?
The Legend of Antara is popular to this very day, isn't it? I just heard someone telling it a few days ago in a cafe. If an old story like that is still being shared, then Tales of Shariar must be even more popular.
Even if that is the case, I really don't carry that book here in my store.
What? Is that because of the academia's strict control over books in recent years? I can't believe they've allowed the people of Sumeru to become so uncivilized. How can they not know about the Tales of Shariar?
Tales of Shariar? Oh, wait. I think I heard an antique seller on the other end of Treasure Street mention that name before. I mean, it is a book from 100 years ago. Why don't you try asking for it there?
Tales of Shariar is considered an antique now? How could the academia have let such an excellent work of literature be forgotten like this? Traveler, Kale, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Let's meet at the antique sellers.
Madam, wait! Oh no, this is bad.
What's wrong?
You asked me why I'm scared of Madame Farazan, right? It's not because I don't know how to respond to her kindness.
It's
because she's
certifiably insane.
I'm afraid of that ancient language she researches, because I can barely understand any of it. What if she uses ancient text as teaching material?
It's only 100 years old. This is not Star Trek. Ancient does not encompass any time before the year the show is currently taking place.
Even so, what if researchers from 100 years ago like to use ancient languages in their books? We've got to catch up to her!
Oh my god. Yeah, I realized that when I looked up the guide secret, I saw at the top it had an advertisement for the new characters added, and one of them was Dia. And I was like, good god, this hangout quest was added that long ago? Oh, Dia. I'm still upset.
Found it! The 5th volume of Tales of Shariar.
Wow, you actually found it!
I never thought this book would ever get sold.
So this book is actually crap, right? This is like tantamount to if like a dumb teenager whose favorite movie was like The Waterboy or something. This is tantamount to if a teenager whose favorite movie was The Waterboy got cryogenically frozen, woke up 100 years later, and was like, "What? You've never heard of The Waterboy? What the? How? How have you not properly preserved this masterpiece? It should be in museums."
All right, that's our teaching material secured. We also now know what to call this course. Analysis of Classical Texts. After all, this book is definitely worthy of being called a classic.
Can I take a look? Luckily the language being used here isn't ancient at all. I can recognize a few words here and there. Huh? But why aren't there pictures in this book?
As long as the writing is good, readers won't need any illustrations to imagine the scenes. Worry not, I shall thoroughly explain the difficult sections. You'll like this book, I know it. After all this time, I wonder if Aaliyah and Aziz ended up together. And who obtained the Desert Gem in the end? Sir, do you have the subsequent volumes of this series?
I don't think so.
Is that so? And here I thought I could finally read the ending. Never mind, I'll keep searching for the later volumes myself. If I'm to use it as a teaching material, it's better to start earlier in the series. Where are the first 4 volumes? Why aren't they all together?
Me trying to find books
don't
at the
have
used
those
bookstore.
either. Actually, this is the only volume I have.
Is this series really that popular?
I will never find a copy of Blood Blockade
It's
Battlefront
not
Volume
popular
3
at
for a
all.
reasonable price.
Rather, there's absolutely no demand
Ever.
for it.
No
Thanks,
demand?
Dark Horse.
Impossible. Back then, I'd come across at least 3 groups of people talking about it during a single stroll at the Academia.
Seriously? No one told me that this book was anything special when I first got it.
Where did you get this from? Can you still contact the seller?
I'm afraid not. This book was sold together with a whole bunch of antique furniture. I didn't even notice it initially. Otherwise, the Matra would have come knocking. Wait, is this book actually worth a lot? It can't be, right?
Afraid not.
That's impossible. No matter how strict the Academia was, there's no way Tales of Shariar could have fallen into such a state.
I do remember a passerby skimming through the book a few days ago. However, he simply sighed and left.
He sighed? Why would he react like that? Given the quality of Tales of Shariar, he should have been entranced after a single glance. I'm sorry. Traveler, Kale, please give me a moment. I'd like to look through this book first. Why is there another misunderstanding between Ali and Aziz? Also, why is there no mention of the Desert Gem at all?
Inoue?
And a new character is introduced with no foreshadowing at all? Also, what are all these new names and terms?
Is this series just Kamen Rider 5s? It sounds like this series might just be 5s.
Is this really the Tales of Shariar I know?
Rip. Waterboy.
Well, that passerby reacted in much the same way.
Who was the
It's
passerby?
Mada from the cafe over there. You know, the fellow who spends all day telling the legend of Antara. Since that's also a very old story, maybe he knows a thing or two about that, Tales of, whatever it's called.
Let's go ask around at the cafe. Huh? Madame Farazan?
Is that Gianni? I was gonna say, that voice
Oh,
actor sounds very
yes.
familiar.
Let's go.
I was thinking Pro Z, it might have been Pro ZD again for a minute, but I don't think so. It might be him, actually, yeah. If so, good for him. I'd love for him to get to play an actual character. He's got a delightful voice.
Another day, another empty room.
Excuse me? But are you Mada?
Yes! Are you here to listen to my story?
No.
Well, we actually came to ask about something else.
I see.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm used to it, more or less. So, how can this terribly unpopular storyteller help you?
Do you know about Tales of Shariar?
Huh? Tales of Shariar? Why, I can barely remember the last time anyone talked about it. My master always talked about how incredibly popular that book used to be. However, I tried reciting a few chapters of it at the cafe, and I found that it's even less popular than The Legend of Antara.
Your master?
Yes, the one who taught me how to be a storyteller. He said that Tales of Shariar was written by his master's master's master. He also said that this great-great-grandmaster was an academia researcher, and that even the sages liked the series. He wrote 4 volumes back then, and the reviews just got better and better. You couldn't find a single person in Sumeru who hadn't read his books.
And then? What happened next? Why doesn't anyone know about Tales of Shariar now?
Oh, it's hard to tell when it comes to trends. One day everyone likes stories like that, and the next day their tastes change completely. Instead of writing a proper ending, this great-great-grandmaster kept trying to extend the story. To tap into popular trends, he added a lot of tropes. Then, starting from the 5th volume, the reviews started to go downhill.
How could that
Okay,
be?
never mind. It's not 5s. It's
Then
clearly
what happened to
Naruto.
Tales of Shariar in the end?
In the end, there's no ending. The great-great-grandmaster tried to write a few more volumes, following whatever trends were popular at the time, but the trends kept changing right as he published his books. He got so infuriated that he stopped writing altogether and focused on his research instead.
What? So there's no ending? The readers didn't care?
By that time, only a very small number of people were reading Tales of Shariar. Anyway,
Rip.
my master probably exaggerated. How could a work possibly have been that popular? The only tangible thing my great-great-grandmaster left is the original draft of Legend of Antara. He also left behind many theses from his research phase. When my master talked about Legend of Antara, he'd even quote from those theses. My master is a much better storyteller than me. Even when we're telling the same story about Antara, he's always able to draw in a huge crowd. But even he won't recite Tales of Shariar due to its ever-changing writing style and its lack of an ending.
So, Antara's story is the one that lasted through the years.
Well, not even sages can definitively ascertain the quality of something like a story. In the end, only time can separate the classics from the fads.
Could you say
Only
this
time?
any more smugly?
Madame Farazan?
It's been 100 years. Perhaps some things I once believed to be great aren't so after all.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Don't worry about it. Stories decline it's just due to changing trends, man.
Yeah! Master helped me find a lot of famous books at first, but in the end, I realized that I couldn't get into them. No matter how good those stories are, I can't improve my skills if I can't bring myself to read them in the first place. I think the best books for me are the ones I like.
Yeah, I suppose the same.
Huh. Indeed. That is true. Readers' interest in trends of a time are not things that are so easily predicted. What was popular 100 years ago could be completely forgotten in modern times. And yet, 100 years, as far as history is concerned, is but a blink of an eye.
Think about it, people. In 100 years, people won't even know what Persona 3 is anymore.
If Tales of Shariar hadn't chased after trends and instead stuck to its original style from start to finish, it might have stood some chance of gaining renewed popularity. No, even if that didn't happen, at least it would be a work that was true to itself.
Huh? Our conversation just got a lot more serious.
I don't really get what you're talking about, but it does sound sensible. Looks like I also have to hang in there and tell Antara's story well.
Think about the present first.
How unseemly. I almost got carried away because of a single book. Well then, we should get back to the matter of our teaching material. It
Yeah,
looks
by
like
then
we can't use Tales of Shariar now.
By then, technology will be so standardized that those stupid $33,000 Apple headsets will cost the equivalent of a nickel. And they'll think stuff like this looked like absolute garbage.
No, it's much too old.
They'll be too busy playing Persona 9, being a little generous,
Oh.
aren't you?
Kale, you
They'll be
found
playing
a book
Persona
that you
7.
liked at the book stall, yes?
Yes, but I don't really...
Then we'll use that book as our teaching material. Now that I think about it, using a book that you like is the most suitable choice for teaching you how to read. As for the academia, as long as we come up with an appropriate course name, we should be able to get away with this.
Analysis of popular literature.
My, it sounds like you've dealt with the academia before.
A little.
Let's go with that. Now then,
You know, hack
let's
guy?
return to the book vendor in a bit and buy the latest volume of this Onibudo for Kale. But if I wish to use it as teaching material, I have to read it first.
Huh?
Speaking of which, other than third eye of perception and illusory mirror, I also espy some unfamiliar phrases from the reader's messages at the back of the book. Such things as, even if it reminds me of my dark history, I still can't help but be drawn in by the story. And the author has written all the things that I only dare whisper into a tree hollow. Why do people use dark history to refer to awkward or embarrassing memories? Is this some slang that was
Oh,
invented
yeah,
in the
yeah,
last
that's right. This
century?
was before the event.
If one of our learning objectives was researching linguistic changes
Dang
over
it.
the past 100 years, it might make it easier to get these books approved as teaching material.
Oh, I can tell you what that's all about. Apparently, in their youth, some people used to imagine
That's what I
themselves
think
as
for
someone
Jet Set
burdened
Radio
by
game
fate,
material. I
fighting
can't
against the
do that.
world, etc. But as they grew older, they started to become embarrassed by such memories. Some would write those fantasies into novels, while
It'll be the
others
fifth
would
spin-off episode.
entrust such tales to tree hollows.
Mata? You know, I suddenly have the urge to hear a story about Antara.
Huh? Why so suddenly?
I think we could ignore the whole dark history thing for now.
I knew it. There will always be people who love the golden oldies. Now, let me tell you all about the ancient hero, Antara.
Aw, it's a wholesome one. All of us sitting down for story time. Eh. There. I can't remember how to claim the rewards. Had a moment there. Yeah, I don't know enough about Jet Set Radio. Never mind, it's a remake. So I don't know how legit that is, but again. You want to think the P3 remake is fake? Be my guest, because I don't blame you. Now go for start over ending. Start on an academic problem. Okay?
What now? Master said there's no rush, but I know that he's been busy working on something at Pardees DI. I feel for Madame Farazan, but if I get her in trouble with the academia, then she won't have the time to help Master.
LA's? Still not the thing yet? I think it doesn't start giving me the answers until I actually start talking to her, so I think it's, hopefully this doesn't matter.
But if someone does complain to the academia, wouldn't it make Farazan's situation more awkward?
You were imagining they did something like
And if the academia
TMSQ?
investigated and found her at Pardees
With
DI,
TV designs like Devil
things would get even
Survivor.
worse for her. Do you have some way to invite her over to Pardees DI without stepping on the academia's toes?
Let's observe the situation first.
Okay then, I'm counting on you.
Yeah, again, the tactics game could be cool,
I have to teach students from Haravatat,
but
or
it's
Okashara
also
are a
not
favor.
enough for me to not
It
boycott
strikes me
Atlas.
that they might be even less happy about such a deal than I am.
I think
Trying
I
to
can
watch the new
sympathize
Madison
with
think it could
them.
be as bad as the other one. Oh no!
Madame Farazan, we're back. Sorry for asking again.
Don't tell me that.
But are you sure you can't go to Pardees DI today?
Well, since you're asking me so sincerely, let's just ignore the academia and...
Please, Madame Farazan, focus. Today's the deadline.
I think I may have picked the wrong one, and I have no idea. Like, this one's... It's weird. It's fucked up because this one's the oldest, so you think it should be the most correct. But, like, this one is dead-ass just not giving me the answers I need. Yeah. Oh, wait, I found it. Oh, it's not much further than I thought. Okay. This is weird. Yeah, there's a lot of choices in here that deadass just weren't here. But I think it's fine.
Huh?
Ignari wants to do some research.
Yes. I see. No wonder he sent you two over. Why, that lad didn't make it very clear in his letter, now did he? Otherwise, I would have reported it as part of my research.
Yeah, that's right. Master sent us over to explain everything to you.
Wait. Opportunities for collaborative research don't just come out of thin air. This seems like too much of a coincidence. Also, there isn't much overlap between Madame Farazan's research and that of Amorta, right? What will you even be collaborating on?
Master wants to research,
A fully automated irrigation system.
A fully automated irrigation system?
Precisely. It's a system that can automatically adjust the amount of water it provides based on the season and the plant species involved.
Yeah, damn, Bess. You've got the same problem I do. Where, like, I literally only had... when I tried to look into it, it turns out I literally had one other company that would provide service to my area, and they were worse than what I already had. God, that sucks. Ugh.
I saw a similar mechanism while exploring a rune in the rainforest. That's why Tighnari wanted to collaborate with me.
Have you tried using an Ethernet cable with the new router?
A mechanism like that
Or are you
exists?
already using it?
Why haven't I heard of it before?
I found it 100 years ago, so it's only natural that you don't know about it. Why don't you go ask your teacher's teacher? Perhaps they've heard about it from their teacher.
But
Bruh.
we can't prove its existence one way or the other, right?
Fret not. I'll have Tighnari write an official proposal to the Academia later. That should do it, right?
An official proposal. Fine. We haven't made any progress with either the collaborative project or the elective course anyway. I'll go inform my superiors now. Please do take care of the paperwork as soon as possible. Don't delay this any longer.
Sure. I'll be sure to needle him until he gets it done. Phew. I think she bought it.
Quick thinking there.
Even though this is our first meeting, I must say, we make a good team.
Wow! You made up that excuse on the spot, huh? Madame Farazan, did you really find an irrigation system 100 years ago? If the Academia asks for any details...
Who knows? It's been 100 years, so it wouldn't be too surprising if I've forgotten a few details, no?
Huh? Then how will we explain things to them?
I'll let Tighnari worry about whatever documents we might need to send to the Academia. If I'm right, the request he has in store for me won't be any simpler than the Academia nonsense.
Yeah, that's me too. My area's not quite that bad.
Huh?
In terms
Where
of
did
being
he
desolate,
go?
but yeah.
You
Those
don't
seem
have
to be
to
the ones that
shout.
have a lack of
I can
options.
hear you. Well, you got here much faster than I expected. I thought you'd have a lot more business to take care of.
Thanks to the Traveler, I was able to, pawn off various problems of mine onto others.
Onto others? What does that mean?
Don't worry about it.
We can discuss that later. You're looking for me because of the thing you mentioned in the letter, right?
That's right. Please, follow me.
You're basically in suburbia. That's good, I assume. I assume that means you at least have better options. Carcata!
A monster? Why is there a monster here?
Don't be scared, Kale. This is the mechanical life form the Traveler and I saved a while back.
Yeah, I don't have
Its
any
name
major
is
shopping
Carcata.
centers near me either.
It's the final work of a late junior of mine.
You mean Abatui? He must have been a genius to create one of such polish all by himself. It's uncommon that a Spontamod researcher is able to create such an intricate machine. If he were still around, we could probably chat the day away. What a shame. Something seems wrong here. Have you been maintaining it? Mechanical life forms are much more fragile than they look.
Is Carcata sick?
Carcata has been lying down like this since a few days ago. It could be an old malfunction acting up again.
Uh-oh.
I've taken a few courses conducted
Not the
by
boy.
Spontamod before, so I've managed to perform some passable repairs on Carcata's energy supply module. However, it seems the issue this time is with its transmission. My knowledge can only prevent its condition from deteriorating any further. But Madame Farazan, you should be able to find a way to repair it.
Not necessarily. Mechanical life forms are created using techniques from alchemy, elemental science, and more. There are multiple modules here that influence each other. A simplistic knowledge of mechanisms will not serve here. You know that as well. Each mechanical life form is very different from the next. So even I cannot be sure if my understanding of mechanical life forms is going to be of any use to our little crab friend here.
Help him!
Carcata.
Can you all go outside for a minute? I need a bit of space. Before I do a thorough check, everything we've just said is but conjecture.
All right. We're counting on you, Madame Farazan. We'll wait here till Farazan finishes her inspection. In the meantime, I'd like to talk to you about her.
I wanted to ask about a
Her
past.
past, huh? Quite a few people in the academia know about what happened to her. Perhaps it'd be best if I'm the one to tell you. I've told you before
Yeah,
that she had
I don't
disappeared
speak
for
Spanish, I don't know
100
the
years,
context,
right?
but that is still a
From
funny
her
redraw.
perspective, trapped might be a more
Beautiful.
apt description.
Whoever the fuckers are in charge of deciding to push it back plans to help bring better internet to rural areas by 2 years, which is something they've already done apparently. Outstanding.
Her exact words were,
That ruin was crawling with traps and coded inscriptions from wall to wall. I did all I could to decipher the code and deactivate the traps to escape the ruin, but there was no way out. I lost track of time and I ran out of pen and paper. In the end, I had to use stone shards to write on the walls and on the floor to decipher the code. Then, before I realized it, I ran out of space on the walls and floor. I had to calculate all the possibilities in my mind. After that, my memory started to become fuzzy, and my cognition slowed down.
she doesn't remember anything else, including the location of the ruin and how she finally managed to escape.
Sus.
When she was found in the outskirts of Sumeru a few years ago, she looked exactly the same as she did 100 years prior. However, she was in a stupor and struggled to form sentences. Only after a lengthy recovery period could she speak again. The academia speculates that she must have gotten trapped in an unknown ruin while researching machines a century ago. And because of the ruin's special properties that halted her aging, she was able to use those 100 years to crack the trapping mechanism and then escape. Though she had finally broken free, 100 years had passed. Everyone she knew and everyone who knew her was already gone. In the end, even the academia had to rely on century-old records in the Akasha to confirm her existence. Don't make that face. I'm not telling you this because I want to drum up sympathy. She wouldn't want others to pity her because of past events. Rather, she sees that period of entrapment as an experimental error. As a researcher, she must accept everything that results from her experiments, even if they don't fall within expectations. Even after going through so much, she's returned to Sumeru and still hasn't given up on her research. Due to changes over the years and drift in academic subjects, she holds some rather strong opinions about the current academia, and she has no shortage of detractors herself. What I want to say is that no matter what era we're in, Farazan is a true senior researcher, in every sense of the word. She has her own deep understanding of various ruins and machines. If there's a chance, you should talk about them with her. It'll definitely be helpful for your journey.
Sounds good.
Master, Madame Farazan's done.
Oh, let's head over. With any luck, she might have figured something out.
Fix the boy.
I never thought that I'd encounter a restitution module once
No
again after
matter
100
what.
years. Abatui really installed quite a few impressive things on this. If my guess is correct, this mechanical life form has displayed attempts at self-sustenance before, right? Such as collecting parts to repair itself, for instance?
He did do that.
It used them for something else, but as far as its design goes, it does have a function like that.
I knew it. If I'm not wrong, Karkata's issue lies with its restitution module. Abatui's modified this module extensively, but the core parts and design philosophy are very similar to the principles as I know them. They are all based on principles learned from the ruins. The creators of the Ruins machine once tried to create a perpetual mechanism that could replace life or even surpass it. The restitution module is the result of one of their countless attempts. It replicates the behavior of living things to achieve a self-repair function. However, the energy required in maintenance of the module became an issue.
Energy consumption? Maintenance?
For example, a living thing's heart can deliver nutrients and blood to various organs. However, the bigger the living thing, the more powerful the heart needs to be. Once the heart is damaged, it'll be hard for that living thing to heal itself, and even the function of other organs can be affected. Thus, the attempt wasn't widely adopted. Even 100 years ago, I'd only seen it once before. Oh dear, this is going to be a problem.
Why that?
Based on my current research, I'll need to swap out the damaged parts in the restitution module to repair Karkata. But like I just said, the module is rare, even by the standards of ancient machines. Not only that, but there is very little related research documentation available. Finding suitable parts would be like trying to find a single gear in the vast desert, to say nothing of the difficulty in making those parts from scratch. One can only wonder where Abatui found the original parts.
I might have an idea. Abatui was, for a time, quite passionate about excavating the Great Red Sand. This was when he had just gotten expelled from the academia.
You mean to say he found a restitution module in the desert? Well, that is indeed possible.
But the desert's huge! How are we supposed to find the parts that Karkata needs?
According to the Academia's records, no similar parts have been found in the Great Red Sand over the past 100 years. If we want to try our luck, we'll have to explore ruins that have never been explored before.
I do know that a Vahumana researcher formed an expedition team after the sandstorms and earthquakes subsided. They are now exploring areas of the desert that used to be difficult to access.
Should we ask them if they've made any new discoveries lately?
The chances are slim, but it's at least more effective than running around like headless chickens.
What's the guy's name?
His name is Raid. I think he's stationed at the northeast part of the Hypostyle Desert. Let's go look for him once Karkata settles down.
Oh, you and Kale should probably stay. Karkata's condition may be stable, but it would still be better if some of us stay to look after it. Besides, you still need to take care of the trouble that the Academia left for me.
Trouble from the Academia? I thought you said that you pawned it off to someone else. Wait. Don't tell me.
I'll let Kale fill you in on the details. I look forward to seeing your work, Tainari.
Kiwi Sonja, thank you for the follow.
Feels kinda weird.
Took the text for
What
a
is
second to
this?
pop in.
Halt! Mr. Raid's permission is required to proceed any further.
Why did I immediately expect him to ask for my hall pass? She's a researcher.
That still won't do. Mr. Raid told us to keep
Boom.
people away from the ruins so they don't damage the site.
Damage the site?
Your mom said you didn't
I've
qualify for a
excavated
fiber optic
more ruins
cable or
than
whatever.
You visited
God damn.
restaurants. Which batch of students is
Oh,
Raid
that's
from?
awful.
I want to see him right now.
He isn't at the campsite now. You should all leave. Only he can give you permission to enter.
What a stubborn guy.
Let's not waste our time.
You're right. Even if there is new information, we still have to wait for him to come back so we can ask him about it. So let's just see what we can find out from the people here. I'm going to give that Raid a good talking to when he gets back. Starting from who in the world mentored you?
Gonna kick him in the shins. She'll do it. I've seen her.
The ruins? Don't know anything. We were only hired to deliver water and supplies to them. Forget excavation. They won't even let us get close to the camp where they're staying.
That machine looks amazing! Could it be the legendary Ruin Wanderer? The location seems to fit too. Might that legend actually be true?
When the time is right, you'll let me know which choice to pick for the branch's bad ending. It's not now, though? Okay.
This area used to be ravaged by frequent sandstorms, but it's been calm lately for some reason. They say that this was done by a single traveler? But seriously, is such a thing even humanly possible?
Well, I found out everything I could. Is there anything that stands out to you?
The machine.
Ruin Wanderer. That's the first time I've heard that name. But that wreckage did seem a bit weird.
How so?
It's a bit far away, and I can't really say for sure from this distance. Perhaps we should ask the villager from before about the legend first.
Huh? What are you guys doing back here? I wouldn't blame you for not knowing about it, youngsters. After all, it's a tale that's over a decade old. It's said that this monster, the Ruin Wanderer, traversed through various ruins for centuries. Many adventurers had claimed to see it while exploring. Some said that it was like a giant, while others said that it was like a beast. However, none knew why it wandered the ruins. Then, about 10 years ago, we stopped hearing any news about it in Sumeru. No one has seen it since then, and the legend has since faded into memory. You youngsters probably don't know about the Ruin Wanderer nowadays, but it was famous for centuries.
Centuries? Impossible. I heard nothing about it back then. It could only have been around for a few decades at most.
Wait, back then.
Indulge my curiosity for a moment. Why do you think that wreckage is the Ruin Wanderer?
Well, I had also heard that secondhand from...
You heard that nonsense from the Eremites after they got drunk, right?
Who are you?
Also a hidden achievement, which isn't right
Madam
now.
Faruzan, it is a pleasure. I'm Raid, the one who organized this archaeological expedition. I'd heard of you at the Academia, but I didn't expect to run into you here. Truly, it is an honor. And this must be the famous traveler, I presume. What brings the two of you here?
Have you found any special contraptions and relics in the ruins that you've been investigating?
I'm ashamed to say that we haven't found anything noteworthy, even though we've been investigating for a while now.
Really? That Ruin Wanderer isn't noteworthy to you?
I'm afraid those are mere rumors. Really, I sometimes wish that those people would put as much effort into their work as they do into gossiping.
You're right, sir. I'll get back to work now.
The
Stu's
wise
excited
do not
for
buy
FF7
into
Rebirth.
rumors, so
Again,
it is
Stu has
said.
bad taste, so yeah.
I believe
of
that
course.
you too, Madam Faruzan, do not put
Yeah, I
any
haven't even
stock
watched the
into
trailer
such
for that.
baseless talk.
It is also said that real knowledge shall come
I don't
from
need to.
practice. I can help you research the excavated
I know
relics
what they're
and see if I
cooking.
can find out anything new about
I know
them.
what they're cooking and I don't
You can
approve.
take credit for any new discoveries. I believe this offer to be sufficiently attractive.
In truth, I could ask for nothing better than your help with our research. However, you two must be tired after a long journey. I'd feel bad if I set you to work immediately. It's getting late and my subordinates and I are heading back to the camp to rest. Why don't you find a place to spend the night first? We can continue our discussion tomorrow. There's a tent that the villagers occasionally use to rest. It's a bit simple, yes, but I hope you won't mind.
Since you need to rest as well, let's do just that. This is quite far away. Are they trying to prevent the villagers from eavesdropping on them? This suits us just fine, though. This way, they won't overhear our conversations either. Now, I have my suspicions about this archaeological expedition team and that machine wreckage. I only caught a quick glimpse, and it was from a distance. But based on the condition of the armor and joints, it didn't seem like something that had been lying around for centuries. At most, I'd estimate that it only stopped moving about a dozen years ago.
You're not playing like never. You hate Nomura. You'd rather play the outdated PS1 version? I would as well. Like I said, I said this back when I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I did enjoy. I enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Remake for the most part, up until they went. Up until Nomura decided that he could be the new Hideki Anno, and he can, just not the way he thinks. I had said that, like, I had said that I would keep playing the remake series, as long as the first chapter was just okay, we acknowledge the elephant in the room, we acknowledge we winked at the camera a little bit about, like, oh man, things are different, history repeating, blah blah blah. We had a little bit of fun, and I said that if going forward that was just that, and going forward it was just back to being a normal remake. That was just, the original game but better. I would happily keep playing it. But, given a lot of... And again, a lot of what I'm basing this on is rumors / fan speculation. If I'm wrong, I'll eat crow, and I will be happy to eat crow. But I have a very, very, very strong feeling about what is going to go down in that game. And I hate it. I hate it, and I hate Tetsuya Nomura, and I want him to 1v1 me. Fight me IRL. I want to give this man a swirly. E3. Best, it absolutely will. If it's that low effort that they're not including stuff from FemC, if they're not including FemC or The Answer, then yeah, no. Any money says they still make you date all the girls.
Yes, the timing coincides with the spreading of the legend. Now, assuming that it really is the Ruin Wanderer, How do you suppose it was able to maintain a relatively good condition despite high-intensity operation over the course of several decades?
And that's why Minato sucks, exactly. Because why would you ever want to date anyone other than Yuka?
That's right. Technically speaking, the module shouldn't be able to move such a large machine chassis. However, I'm basing my knowledge on the mechanical life forms I've seen before.
I lost my place again. Shoot. You've seen others besides Carcata?
Well, this was over 100 years ago.
What
it was a
if he-
machine about the same
What if
size
it
as
goes-
Carcata, actually.
That's the best part,
It couldn't
Cameron.
carry
It
heavy
won't.
objects or fight, and was only able to
You
help
know
me
it
record
won't.
some notes.
That would require
It also
effort.
helped me deliver letters home. I found it near the desert, which is why I wondered if there might be more restitution modules buried around here.
No effort allowed. We can't do the subversive Evangelion bullshit. That would require us to try. None of that. Is it no longer around?
Honestly, people in ancient times might have already solved the problem of providing enough power for all I know.
It's
I'll need
also
to
apparently
research
going to be on
this
2 discs.
properly.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, I know what's up with that too. It's to account for the extra 2.5 hours of looped footage of Tetsuya Nomura flipping you off and then defecating at the camera. 2.5 hours of him doing that. That's on one of the discs.
Had I confronted Raid right there and
Enjoy.
then, he would have said that
$70.
he couldn't tell that the machine was special. Then he'd just hand it over to the Academia obediently, and he'd get away scot-free. If the wreckage were to be handed to the Academia, it'd be much tougher for us to do research on it or get spare parts for Carcata. Anyway, we should figure out what they're planning before making our next move. They insisted that we should stay
Out
the
of the
night,
devastating
which
world
means if
against
they're
no in
trying to pull a
between.
fast one on us, they're likely to try tonight. We must
You
be
know,
vigilant.
The game opens like the House of the Dead funny version, with Tetsuya Nomura tied up, and then threatening to set him on fire and play his own video games, like they threatened to make Uwe Boll watch his own movies. No, don't do that!
Are those sounds coming from the excavation site?
2 discs for part
I
of
knew they
7
wouldn't be able to
story.
wait. They must be scared that we might discover something tomorrow. Not a single person guarding the campsite. This must be quite the manpower expenditure.
with the
I'll see if they left any clues behind of their camp.
Thank you.
Keep watch and help me stall them if it comes to that, would you?
No problem.
All right. I'm counting on you.
Counting on you. You have both from PS Plus after all, do you, Fusion Knight? I would give a cautious recommendation for both. Again, I enjoyed Remake Part 1 for the most part. It was like up until the end of it, all the new stuff they added was like very logical and just kind of added to the story and the overall effect of things. It was only in like the last couple of hours that they started to go full Evangelion and really kind of crawl up inside their own asshole. But up until that point, it was good.
Why isn't the tent here yet? We need to switch it out tonight.
It's still on the way. I'm afraid this is the first time we're delivering such a huge one.
You good-for-nothings are just a load of trouble, aren't you? We wouldn't have to deal with these interlopers if you had kept those lips of yours from flapping. Hurry up and hide our current tent and deliver the new one to me tonight, no matter what it takes.
Huh? Who's there?
It's me, Adova. It's me, Austin! It was me all along!
I'm sorry. I'm just a bit upset because my subordinates aren't doing their jobs properly. When did you get here?
So what's this about a tent?
It's nothing. Just a tent. We didn't pack up all our tents from the last campsite. Some of them, along with a few people, have been left there. Someone damaged our current tent, so I'm trying to get my subordinates to get one from that previous campsite delivered here.
From what you've seen, it would probably have been better served as a super boss, given the meaning. Probably. Yeah, as a DLC like side thing to be like, see, we know it could have been cute, but as part of the main story, and the fact that it's probably going to be the standard going forward. It was like, oh man, no! Oh, it's not the same. Things are different now. It's trash.
The relics in the ruins are highly valuable, so I'm worried that treasure hoarders and bandits might try to steal them. Since the tent isn't here yet, and I can't fall asleep, I came here to patrol.
Ending is massively out of mind thanks to the remake bullshit. Well, I mean, that's obviously why they recast everybody. To make it tie more in with the remake. But from what I understand, shockingly, well, not so shockingly, because they're lazy, they actually did not apparently add in anything to, like, directly correlate with the remake. It is just actually pretty much a one-to-one of the original Crisis Core.
Well, these things are antiques after all. There will always be people interested in buying them. I hired so many people precisely because I was worried about that happening. It is just Crisis Core with better graphics and worse voice acting. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask, is the Academia really aware that you've traversed through the desert to come here in the middle of the night? Also, where's Farazan? Why isn't she with you?
I'm right here. Also, you forgot to address me as Madam.
Sorry, Madam.
That's actually even
Farazan.
worse to you. I can't
They
blame
were all
you.
making so much noise that I couldn't sleep, which is why I got the Traveler to find out what was going on. But for some reason, that one task took forever, so I came to check in on the situation.
If not, you may try to get the original running on the 3DS. Fun little experience. Make it feel a little more special than just playing it on your phone. Fusion. Oh yeah, I was gonna say if all else fails, you could also always just emulate it. It's pretty it's pretty non-taxing on the on a PC or on my old PC, so I assume it'd run okay on stuff like that. Yeah, there's also if you get the PC version, if it ever goes on sale or whatever. I'm not sure how PC games are for you. I assume you can play them, but there's also a mod to replace it with the original voice acting.
I'm very sorry for disturbing your rest. I'll
That's
tell
all the way
my
in the basement
subordinates to
there.
be quieter on patrol.
Good. Come on, Traveler. Let's head back. Yes, we came to check out the situation, didn't we? Well, we've already done that. We should get better rest so that we'll have energy to investigate tomorrow.
They straight up couldn't bother changing for their shitty story. Nope.
Thanks for dealing with them. Now, I found something good on my end. These are the excavation records from their campsite. According to them, the ruins have been raided before, with numerous traps and contraptions having already been triggered. I also observed the wreckage up close earlier. The weathering is nowhere near as extensive as on the relics that have been buried for over 100 years. There's no doubt that the wreckage in the ruins don't belong to the same era. Instead, it must have wandered into the ruins about a dozen years ago. It could have fallen into a trap or encountered a glitch within the ruins, remaining stationary like that until it was discovered recently. However, I still don't know why they'd want to hide it. I have no doubt that the researcher could definitely reach the same conclusion I did. The last few pages of the excavation records are written in code, which I still need time to decipher. The answer may lie within those pages. It's just wordplay. And if anything, that's my wheelhouse. Just a bit more. Ah, I see now.
Help! Please help! Why are you running away? Come back! Protect me!
Why are you running? Why are you running?
What's that sound? Is it?
It's John Cena!
The Ruin Wanderer? Reactivated? That's impossible! Is this the work of some kind of hidden mechanism? Never mind. We have to focus on saving lives first. I'll cover them. You go stall the Ruin Wanderer. What?
traveler?
Why is it chasing after us?
If you guys smell.
Caused it to reactivate? To give chase?
Darn it! Hey, come on, you lot! It's clear that we can't escape, so let's just attack it!
Well.
It stopped?
Hey, you guys, get up there and tell me what's going on.
But what if it suddenly moves?
You good-for-nothings. Why is everyone I hired so useless? Move! I'll do it myself. Looks like this thing's parts can't handle the load of functioning anymore after years of disrepair. When it first reactivated, I was wondering if it'd be as amazing as the legends had pegged it to be. I didn't expect it to be so much weaker than it looks. How disappointing.
Disappointing, you say? Now, is that because you won't be able to sell it for much?
Faru-san, you may be my senior as an academia researcher, but that doesn't mean you get to slander me.
You wrote these excavation records, did you not? Or perhaps calling it a ledger might jog your memory a bit better.
I don't recognize that thing.
January 3rd, excavated 5 tents. January 5th, 3 tents sold. January 10th, 1 special tent pre-sold. It must quickly be switched out with an old tent.
So, codename.
You're supposed to be an archaeological expedition team, and yet here you are, secretly selling the relics and
PSP on
profiting from
3DS.
it. When you believed that you had
Been
found the
delved into a
wreckage
lot.
of the Ruin Wanderer, you tried to switch in
may
wreckage
be
that you had
possible.
excavated previously to
Interesting.
pull the wool over the Academia's eyes. After all, there would probably be many wealthy buyers interested in purchasing the legendary Ruin Wanderer in the black market, yes? And then we arrived just before you could finish your work. That forced you to speed up your plan, and you tried to complete the switch overnight before I could investigate the wreckage. In your haste, however, you accidentally activated the Ruin Wanderer instead. Did I get that all right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You lack the curiosity befitting a man of knowledge, nor do you have respect for mechanical life forms. You're not fit to be a researcher.
Ridiculous. Curiosity? Respect? I'm not here to hear you preach. Hey, we're leaving.
Mr. Aid!
Behind you?
People think it's not possible the 3DS isn't powerful enough. Would make sense. People said 3DS has more PSP, so it's slightly more powerful. Which is the truth!
Why is it moving again? Run!
Just beat it up, Fivehead. It's not that hard. Just bloom. Faru-san!
Some said that it was like a giant, while others said that it was like a beast. However, none knew why it wandered the ruins.
I have to read
Technically speaking,
three
the
things
monster
on the
should
ground
be
to
able
get
to
an
move such a
achievement.
large
Okay.
machine chassis. However, I'm basing my knowledge on the mechanical life forms I've seen before.
Noted.
Centuries? Impossible. I heard nothing about it back then. It could only have been around for a few decades at most.
Why is it chasing after us?
So you've been looking for me this whole time?
Well,
Long time no see, Tamimi.
rip the old guy who sounded like Bender. Alright. Hey, easy. This your beep boop?
Dear Farazan, I hope you're doing well. It has been over 20 years since you went missing. People from the academia keep telling us to give up and that you're most likely dead. But somehow, I feel like you're still alive. Yes, that you live still in some corner of this world. You've always been persistent, able to shine no matter what situation you face. I believe that this persistence serves you well in surviving and finding your way home. Unfortunately, I likely won't be able to welcome you home when you do. I don't have much time left, and my reflexes have slowed. Others keep telling me to stop exploring ruins. Only Tamimi is still the same as before, always running off to places which you've been to. Your teacher and friends came up with an idea to remodel Tamimi, so it can search for you in our place. You didn't like coming home back then and would always get Tamimi to send a letter back. Now we're leaving a letter with Tamimi. I wonder if it'll ever be delivered to you. I don't know the answer to that question, but if you ever read this letter, I hope it'll be when you've already found your way home. I regret not being able to say this to you myself, but I'll still feel sincerely happy for you, my dear daughter.
Aww.
Welcome home, Faruzan. Look at you, Tamimi. You've changed so much after all these years. Thank you for waiting for me all this time. I've safely received the letters. Your work is done now.
Oh God, no!
You can sleep.
No! Don't go all Futurama on me, Gabe! God damn it!
Tamimi, the mechanical life form I encountered back then. When I would go on expeditions,
He waited for you,
it would follow
Faruzan.
me, take notes for me, and send my letters home. When I met with that accident, it was on the way to deliver a letter for me. I once thought that I'd never get to see it again. I didn't expect my teacher and others to remodel its self-repair function, upgrading it to self-learning. And so, in order to plumb the depths of unknown ruins and overcome dangerous traps, it repaired and modified itself using parts it found along the way. 1 decade of wandering became many, and soon, Tamimi, which used to be incapable of even moving heavy objects, became the Ruin Wanderer. All so it could deliver these last letters from them to me.
Oof. When did you come home?
The strain to support such a huge body must have turned out to be too much for your heart, right? Even after the remodeling, its restitution module still can't function perfectly in perpetuity. It has been pushing itself beyond its limits over the past few decades. Just like a living being, mechanical life forms have a limited lifespan. It probably became trapped in the ruins all those years ago because its shelf life had run out. It most
Something they got
likely
lost in the
only
bus and they might be having a
reactivated
direct
because it detected
soon.
my presence. And then it mustered up everything it had to deliver that last letter.
I don't think there's anything
Now,
they could
I
announce
can
that I'd be
finally rest in
particularly enthused about. Other than, you know, the X. But, we'll see.
Tighnari told you what happened to me, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to apologize. It's not like this incident is a secret in the academia. Besides, I've always treated it as a failed experiment. As a researcher, I must accept this result. However, finding out that so many people were affected by my failure does make me feel somewhat conflicted. Can you head back to Pardis Di first?
Xenoblade
We've
Warrior.
been here for a while, and it's best not to make Kale and the rest worry. As for me, I want to stay with Tamimi for a bit longer. Just a bit.
That got depressing quickly. Quick, let's talk about Tetsuya Nomura farting at the audience again. It's funny. It's funny how awful he is. If I get told to keep something secret, pick it for the bad ending. Okay. Get that over with, sure.
You're back!
Ah, how was your journey through the desert? Wait, where's Madame Faruzan?
Most of the gods in this are women. The Archons, yeah. As far as we know from the lore, only 2 out of 7 of them are, our boys. And Venti's a femboy. So really, it's more like 1.5 out of 7. It's a secret.
So, Madame Farazan has some other things to settle. All right. And to think that Raid was doing all those things on the sly. It's good that you all got out of that situation
it's really
in
messed
one
up.
piece.
Madame Farazan
Especially
will be able
because,
to
like I said,
repair
if it was
Karkata
going to
when
be
she
that
gets
even, I
back.
wish they had at least spread it out a bit. We got the only 2 guys right off the bat, and then nothing but girls since then. You don't even like the game, but that's cringe. Yeah, it's really weird. But that would mean years without Zhongli. Or they could have just made, they could have just made Venti a girl. Since he's a femboy and since he's an XP of Wendy from Honkai, anyway.
Is there to be no welcoming party?
Madame Farazan, we're over here.
That's more like it. Now, here are some components I brought back from the desert.
Jeff Keighley
Switch these
described
out
the
with the
Persona
ones
3
Karkata
remake
is
word for
using
word,
right now,
and ending with
and
the
it'll
phrase
be back
rumors
in
were
ship
choose
shape.
just to show a trailer.
So this is a relic of an ancient civilization. Unbelievable.
Haven't touched Genshin
Thankfully,
in a while.
it didn't end up in Raid's unscrupulous hands.
Yes, Dean, yeah. Dendro is real. Dendro is very much real. An overwhelming majority of the characters released the last couple of patches have been Dendro. There are actually now more Dendro characters in the game than there are Geo characters. I don't think Geo's gotten a single new character since Goro.
Unscrupulous, huh?
Unscrupulous.
Sounds
my
like you
favorite
already
word.
told them what happened.
No.
Is that so? Thank you. We will talk about everything else later. It's nothing. I've already given all the evidence we have against Raid to the Academia. They're going to be very busy. Too busy to bother us, I'd wager. I'll start repairing Karkata then. Kale, can you help me out? Of course!
Venti, goddamn Starbucks, god. Mr. Brainholes.
You're here. Thank you for keeping Tamimi a secret.
You don't want them to know?
If I tell them about Tamimi, will they still feel happy for Karkata? Even if we could convince them to accept the components, they'll probably still feel bad about it.
Oof.
I don't want my past to affect people in the present. That applies to both me and other people.
Oh yeah, Sandland exists. Yeah, that was a shock. You don't have to shoulder this alone.
It's fine. I'm used to this. I
Oh.
once believed that I'd never hear from my old friends and family ever again. Even their faces are getting hazier in my memories. However, I could remember them clearly again after reading the letter Tamimi handed to me and learning that they'd never given up on me. That's more than enough. I'd be disappointing them if I let myself fall into a slump because of this. Neither my teacher nor my mother would have wanted to see me like that. Besides, you're lending a listening ear to me now, aren't you? Oh, Pardeus DI looks pretty scenic at night. Will you take a stroll with me?
Pettiness from Toei? Probably.
Once Karkata's condition stabilizes, I'll find a chance to tell Tainari and Kale about all that. But for now, just help me keep this secret.
You got
Thank
it.
you. Whether it's 100 years ago or now, I have people who worry about me.
Oh.
I suppose I should consider myself quite fortunate. The only time when I felt otherwise was when I had just returned to Sumeru. No one came to check up on me then.
Welcome home.
Yeah, I'm home.
Aww. Aww. Yeah, I don't know if I wouldn't call that a bad one, a bad ending, but yeah, that definitely got that definitely got very somber towards the end. Aww. That was a good one. Next, for the gardener and the nursery, start from academic problem. All the way? All the way back! All the way!
What now? She seems so busy. Master said there's no rush, but I know that he's been busy working on something at Pardis DI. I feel for Madame Farazan, but if I get her in trouble with the Academia, then she won't have the time to help Master. What should I do?
Let's help her fix her problem.
Yeah, that would be the best for them both. But I'm sure he'll say, the best thing you can do now is study hard, so I don't have to give you remedial lessons.
Ow!
Huh? Oh, yes. This way she can get her problem sorted out quickly, and then she can
Another
go see
racist
Master.
but not till later. Okay.
So if I also stay and help, that still sounds kinda scary.
Don't voice
Okay, then.
yourself now.
I'm counting on you.
Speaking of Sandland, shout out to Hal. We're on track for the joke made about Dragon Quest 13 on PlayStation 6 being
I have
real.
to teach students from Haravatat, or owe Kasharawar a favor.
I think I can sympathize with them.
We're back, Madame Farazan. The Traveler said that she can stay and help you.
Oh, why I couldn't ask for more. In fact, I'm rather curious about the type of person the Traveler is. You were the one who taught Azara a lesson after all. That said, will I be troubling you?
If there is a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Take out my deck and my card games resolve it.
Is that so? Good. It does so happen that I do have something I need help with. Now, should I apply to teach a course with Haravatat, or join the collaborative project that Kasharawar is proposing?
Let's see what the collaborative project's about.
I don't know if Tainari's told you about this before, but while my research
Hey,
involves learning
Godzilla.
about ruins and the mechanisms within them, I don't belong to Kasharawar.
I have
which
heard about
specializes in
Yakuza
researching
7,
mechanisms,
another
nor am I
side,
a
another
Spontamod,
story,
which
or
specializes in
whatever it's
researching
called.
energy flow.
I have not
Instead,
actually watched
I'm
any
part of
trailers.
Haravatat, which
I will not
specializes
be
in
looking
languages
into it
and
all
scripts.
until I've played Yakuza 7 to avoid spoilers, but it seems very cool. It just said you gotta be in the field of mechanisms.
She has been invited to Kasharawar multiple times to continue her research,
Dog got granted.
but
They gave her a
she's
cute purple
rejected them each
bandana.
time.
Aww,
Just
babe.
listen to how they introduce themselves. In the future, Kasharawar will be
Cute.
the only Darshan with the ability to research mechanisms. There's no such thing as exclusivity in knowledge. Besides, the current Kasharawar is more concerned about how mechanisms can be used in everyday life, while my research involves textual analysis of ruins. If they're trying to
No
use
money
the
by your
collaborative
next
project as
payday,
an
I know
excuse
that
to have me
feel.
reconsider again,
No, that's not it. The request this time is from Akara Crafts. The representative of Kasharawar recommended you to them, Madame Farazan. In truth, she told me that it's because she respects you a lot.
Oh, respect? Oh, my. Putting aside my ideological differences with Kasharawar, I suppose I must acknowledge this attitude of theirs. At the very least, they're bounds above those decrepit Haravatat fools.
Can't hurt to hear him out.
Yeah, Akara Crafts is a pretty nice shop.
Well, since both of you feel as such, I shall first hear this proposal.
In summary, Akara Crafts wants to design a series of early learning toys that will cultivate curiosity and learning in children.
Early learning toys. Interesting.
The Academia agreed to work with them because they hope that these toys can help children become excellent researchers in the future.
True. The current academia is in need of some new blood. If the children start learning now, perhaps I can find some talented students in a few years.
Madame Farazan, you still haven't found any students?
Anise, Kasharawar's representative, should be staying in the inn at Port Ormos. If you want more details, you can find her there.
Port Ormos?
Save the children.
Now there's a place I haven't been to in a long time.
So much
I
saving the
wonder
children.
how much it's changed.
I probably can't join you since Port Ormos is a little far from here. I should probably go back and report to Master, and then review today's homework.
No worries. Go do your homework, Kale. Once I'm done with everything here, I'll head over to Pardistii.
I can help out.
Thank you. Why, I'd even call this a rare chance for a curious researcher like myself to observe the legendary traveler up close.
Oh, we're even going to the same location, I think. I think this is where Kaveh went to save the children as well. Technically, I guess she would have done it first.
Madame Farazan! Oh, it's really you. Did you change your mind?
All right, calm down. Let me be clear. I'm still not all that interested in Kshahrewar. I'm just here to see how the project is going. After all, you're here as representatives of the academia in this collaboration. The reputation of all research is at stake here, so I will not simply stand by should mistakes get made.
Either way, it's good that you were willing to come. Now, we've given Akara Crafts many ideas over the past couple of days. However, their owner thinks that our designs are too complicated, which will drive production costs too far up.
That's expected. Students who have never had to deal with budgetary constraints probably don't understand how important it is to keep costs low. How enviable. Oh,
Are you broke? Relatable.
If you join the Kshahrewar, your budget will be as big as you want it to be. I guarantee it.
That's enough. I will not repeat myself. Take me to Akara Crafts owner first, if you please.
All right. He's usually at the slope up ahead recruiting volunteers to test out his toys. Let's just head over. Mamdu, the one I recommended is here.
Oh, so you're, Madame Farazan?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, wonderful. We haven't been able to make any progress on our collaboration recently. We've made many suggestions, but Miss Anis thought that those ideas were too simple and wouldn't be effective in training the mind.
These early learning toys are meant to help the academia train future researchers, after all. If they're too simple, then how are they any different from regular toys?
But if they're too
Not letting
complicated,
my grandma
not only will they
out
be
until Atlas
expensive to
deletes
produce
his
considering our
friend
production capabilities, but they won't have much broad appeal to Sumeru's children either.
So the design can't be too complicated, but it can't be too
No.
easy to play with either.
I
No,
remember
your
that
grandma-
in your notes. Many
Your grandma
contraptions have
can't
managed to
help us.
fulfill complex functions despite using simple parts. Maybe we can do
Atlas
something
can't very well
similar
ignore
with
their
these early
demands.
learning
No, they
toys.
absolutely can and will. They don't care about
Contraptions
your
in my
grandma.
notes. I didn't create those.
Atlas don't care about
I
any
simply
of
took
our
the contraptions
grandmas.
in the ruins apart and analyzed them.
Because they're whores.
But now that you mention it, the ruins did have things like
Burn
that.
down the studio.
Do you have a pen, paper, and scissors? I'll make
It'll
a
be
paper
faster,
prototype.
it'll get results, and
You
it will
have
be
an
incredibly
idea already?
satisfying.
I suppose I should have expected as much of a respected academia senior researcher. We do have those. Yes, please, help yourself. Oh, you're done already?
I'm gonna make an edit of that bit from Kamen Rider Zio. Just very, very transparently cross out Toei and replace it with Atlas. For legal reasons, this is in fact a joke.
Let me explain. These 3 thick lines represent 3 poles. These paper strips of varying lengths represent rings of different sizes. They can be slotted onto the poles and stacked up like a tower.
Well, that is easier to make than I expected. So, how is this game played?
That's very simple as well. You just need to shift the tower from this pole to another pole.
Isn't this a little too simple? Even by the standards of an early learning toy, I mean.
Of course, when moving each ring, the paper strips in this case, you must follow one rule. You can only move one ring at a time, and you can't place a bigger ring on top of a smaller one. It's like building a tower. The rings in the 3 poles must be stacked from big to small. I named this toy Pagoda Stack.
Pagoda Stack.
That sounds way too simple.
Legally distinct from a pogo
Even
stick.
I feel like it's missing something.
Give it a try and you'll find out if it's simple or not. I heard from Anise that you find volunteers to try out the toys, right? Why don't we do the same for this game?
It's such a simple toy. There's no need to...
Mamdu, let's just do as she says.
Okay, then.
And that's how you play this game. You can all give it a try. Let's see who's able to move the tower to another pole in the smallest number of steps.
You called everyone here for such a simple toy?
An
It
achievement
doesn't
here as well.
look like it'll
Okay.
take that many steps.
Come on, we all promised to help Mr. Mamdu test out the new toys. He said he'd give us new Genius Invocation TCG cards.
Of course, they were lured with the promise of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Ugh, fine. Let's get this over and done with so we can head back and play cards.
You kids are jaded.
Done. It took me 19 steps.
Huh? It took
Yeah,
me
once
over 20 steps.
Once again, MiHoYo is reminding
I
you
only
to play
needed
their card
18
game.
steps.
The Genius Invocation TCG minigame is the best minigame in any video game ever. You should be playing it every day, all days, all the time. There's your content. You will get nothing else and you will like it. All you need is the card game. It will water your crops. It will fix your marriage. It will get you laid. If you have not already gotten laid, do it. This card game is so fucking good. Every single person in the universe loves it. Why don't you love it? Why don't you love it?
Not bad. Looks like you're all familiar with the rules now. Then let's increase the difficulty. The next tower will be 5 layers tall. Now then, give it a shot.
Wait, there's more?
Well, since we're already here, why don't we just give it a try?
An extra layer shouldn't make
If it was
it
good enough,
that
you
much
probably
harder,
already
right?
started Genshin for it. I wonder if there's like a simulator yet where you can just play it
on?
separately of the
I've
actual
already
game.
moved over 30 steps, but I'm still not done
It
yet.
probably should be.
I'm almost done. Looks like I'm the faster
And once again,
one
friendly
this
reminder that the card
time.
game is perfectly fine.
Done. It took me 35 steps.
The card game is perfectly fine. It's just that it's not that interesting. It's not interesting enough to make up for the otherwise lack of content. And it's really, really funny to me how hard they keep shilling it in the actual in-game dialogue. Once again, I never did the quest for it on screen when it first came out, the tutorial that taught you how to play it, but holy shit. It was hilarious watching the characters hype it up as the greatest anything ever. So shameless.
What? How?
This Pagoda Stack toy is pretty fun to play with.
Good. We'll try it one final time. This time, we'll add 2 more layers, making 7 layers in total.
Oh god.
Mamdu, we've still got quite a few paper strips here. Why don't you give this a go as well?
Do you need that many steps for something this simple? Let me try.
Madam Faruzan, allow me to try it as well.
You were looking at it quite seriously just now. Are you starting to understand the principles involved?
I think so.
If you want to test out your hypothesis, you'll just have to play and find out.
Got it.
Ah, we don't have enough paper strips left for you, Traveler. However, by the looks of things, you seem to have the game figured out.
I think so.
Why don't you guess what the lowest number of steps needed to solve a 7-layer pagoda stack is?
Hold on, let me look at my walkthrough. I mean, I'm not cheating. 127.
Oh, color me impressed. You figured it out so quickly. Let's see how well they do then.
3,787.
If I move this small ring, then the big one won't be able to go on top of it. Oh, This is going to take more steps than I expected.
I've lost count of how many steps I've taken. Can I restart?
This got a lot harder.
Rip. Going from equilibrium level 3 to 4 be like.
I solved it. Madame Faruzan, it takes 127 steps in total.
God damn.
That many? But there are only 7 layers.
For every extra layer in the pagoda stack, the move order you need to consider becomes much more complex, and the number of steps required will at least double.
More accurately, it will require double the steps, plus 1 each time. You did well. You didn't underestimate the principles behind it just because it's an early learning toy. The complexity of any given contraption isn't determined by the number of parts it has. The way the parts interact and the rules behind how it operates are important too.
Oh, I see. No wonder you emphasized in your notes that no contraption should ever be underestimated.
I see. So even a simple toy can become complex with the right set of rules.
That's right. The rules used for Pagoda Stack are the simplest kind when it comes to ancient contraption-making techniques. I could spend some time picking out all those machines that do something similar and write you a reference book. Once that happens, you can give the volunteers the reference book and paper prototypes and find out which toy is the most popular.
Do you have any other toys?
Yeah! When can we play with them?
In about 2 days or so, I think. Anise, if you're free, can you help me with the illustrations for the reference book?
Of course. I'd be honored.
2 days should be enough for us to find more volunteers. Then we can organize a huge conference here, at which we can announce which toy we'll be making.
I'll use the dumb clock feature to change the in-game time, then.
You'd be most welcome. We need more people to get a healthy range of opinions. The more, the merrier.
Thank you for coming here with me today. I'll walk back with you.
So many achievements. Look at this. Look at how many Primo gems I have, and we still got 1 whole patch before Fontaine. Surely I'm good, right? Surely that means I don't have to do the stupid Mario Maker event again. And the card game bullshit on this one, right? Right? It's just like 4 extra pulls or something, right? Surely.
I'll be going then. Say hi to Tainari and Kale for me if you can. Once everything here is settled, I'll make my way over to Pardis Di as quickly as I can.
About
Anise. We haven't had much time to get to know each other, but she seems like a good kid. She's able to calmly figure out the basic principles behind something without being influenced by others.
Try to be accurate.
I'll do my best to teach her over the next few days.
Noted.
Still, how much she learns will really depend on her.
Why don't you take her on as your student?
Well, her interest lies in the application of mechanisms. I do have some old knowledge to share, but if we think about the future, it's easier for her to learn the things she's interested in if she stays in Kasharawar. My research into mechanisms is, in a sense, a side effect of my research into ancient texts. If she becomes my student to learn how to make modern contraptions, it wouldn't benefit either of us in the long run. However, if she develops an interest in deciphering ancient texts over these next 2 days, that would change things. If I successfully poach a student, those young punks at Haravatat will have one less reason to cut my budget. Perhaps if this collaborative project goes smoothly, I can even ignore Haravatat and ask for a higher budget directly from the academia.
About the collaborative process.
Oh, I could come up with lots of ideas. With Anise's help, 2 days will be enough for our work. However, I'm still undecided as to the style of the reference book's text and illustrations.
Keep it simple and fun, or accurate? Oh, accurate and detailed.
You're right. Explanations are a core part of early developments, too. By using detailed and accurate illustrations, we can impart knowledge more effectively. It would also make it easier for me to recruit students.
Yeah, but these are kids.
You. I'll take your opinion into account.
Yeah,
See you
that's
in 2
definitely the
days.
less favorable option. How dare you? The day before the day after tomorrow. This'll end well. I can't wait for all the kids to start crying because the instructions are too confusing.
Oh, you're here. We're just starting to set up the venue.
We've called up everyone we possibly could have. This is going to be quite the event.
My masterpiece is going to be exhibited after all. Let's see what the Academia shall say about it this time. To sum up, the 24 forms of pressure-based puzzle mechanisms were used in various ruins. All right, let's go to the next page. Now, I'll explain the base layer design of elemental monuments.
Oh boy. Oh shit, since I'm on a different path, I think I'm getting, different dialogue. Uh-oh. Feel like I'm in class.
Are we done yet?
God damn it.
I don't understand any of it at all.
Rip. Oh,
are these really toys?
They sound a bit too dangerous to buy for children.
Oh, no.
Well, we've prepared paper prototypes for everyone. If you're interested in the mechanisms Madame Farazan's talked about, you're more than welcome to try them out.
Oh, this is no fun. Can I try another toy?
I want to go home and play Genius Invocation TCG.
Forget it. I don't think anyone would be interested.
Bruh.
I should go home and take care of my children.
How did this happen? Forget about getting opinions from others. No one even wanted to stay and try them out.
I'm sorry. I think we miscalculated.
My
No, you simply gave suggestions. I was the one who decided to follow through. Anise, too, was only following my instructions. I will find a way to make up for this error. Please, give me some time. I'll write another reference book.
Excuse me, but are you the one who wrote this reference book?
Yes. Who are you?
Ah, you're that man Mountain who was in the crowd just now.
Do I stand out that much? Well, I guess I don't look like someone who'd have anything to do with toys.
You're just Cyrus from Mondstadt the Brown. You can't fool me.
Let me introduce myself. I'm Kamal, the branch master of Sumeru's Adventurers Guild.
Oh, that's what Cyrus is, but for Mondstadt. Fucking. Does every leader of every adventure guild branch have the exact same model, but with slightly different skin and hair color?
What's the branch master doing here? Were you looking for us, or did something happen?
I came to Port Ormos to visit some old friends. On the way over, I saw the booklet you were handing out, so I came to take a look. Can you print a few more copies of this booklet and sell them to the Adventurers Guild? Also, could you make full-fledged models of those paper prototypes and sell them to us as well?
What does the Adventurers Guild want with these toys?
You may see them as toys, but to adventurers who need to deal with all sorts of machines and contraptions within ancient ruins, this booklet is a true treasure. We have many members who can't read, so books are of little use to them. What they know of handling mechanisms has been learned solely through word of mouth. Even if the Academia granted public access to all their books, there are people who can't use them.
Ah, and our booklet is practically all pictures.
Well, it is designed for children.
It might be a bit too difficult for children, but it's perfect for adventurers. Also, those paper strips, you called them paper prototypes? If you can make wooden versions for demonstration purposes, even the most illiterate person would be able to follow along and understand. If we can supply a model set for each branch, and if each adventurer carries a booklet with them, then ruin exploration will become much safer.
You really think so? I mean, yes. I always knew it. Knowledge will always be needed, one way or another.
Making models of contraptions for the Adventurers Guild? To be honest, that sounds like a good avenue to explore to me.
Did you just get, like, significantly more flamboyant all of a sudden?
We'll probably have to send in a separate application, but it shouldn't be an issue. After all, this concerns safety during the exploration of ruins. It's a problem that the Academia is actually trying to address as well.
Then let's cut to the chase and discuss the details of our first order. The amount we're offering to pay in advance is... this much.
Okay. So we couldn't save the children, but we still got paid, so it's fine. He gets possessed by the spirits of stereotypical gay representation whenever excited. Oh god. Now there's a light novel concept for you. Oh dear. Alright, okay. 3 down, just like that. Alright, only 2 more to go. And I haven't looked at her timeline too closely because I keep having to go back to, like, pretty much the very start. But let's... Oh, yeah. Just a couple of very obvious branches we're missing. Alright, start on question and answer time. This time, pick the JC! Twerk like you've never twerked before! Thank you very, very much for updating the autopsy report. Continue to enjoy your Archimonicas and emotes. Thank you for sticking it out with me.
My latest design's getting there, but there's still room for improvement.
Hope you are having a
finishing
fine
touches
evening.
before the deadline creeps up.
Let's actually save the children this time.
I'll be going then. Say hi to Tainari and Kale for me if you can. Once everything here is settled, I'll make my way over to Pardis DI as quickly as I can. You want to ask why I'm unwilling to join them, yes? Putting aside the fact that they're too full of themselves, I actually have no issue with
Might
their research
unsub for a while
methodologies and
until you get a
approach.
job again. Completely
After all,
understandable.
Knowledge is either right or wrong. Superiority and inferiority
No worries, you look
do
out
not
for
come
you.
into the conversation. All researchers are just doing their best to shed light on the unknown in their respective fields of expertise. No matter what corner of the unknown they shed light on, it's a step forward for us all. Because I believe wholeheartedly in that principle. Even
Fair
if
enough.
the others call my research useless, as long as the knowledge I gain from it is accurate, it could become useful in the future. In the end, useful and useless are concepts that shouldn't be used to evaluate knowledge. When I first started deciphering ancient documents, I didn't think
Assuming you
about
saw
how
the
it'd be
leak,
useful
I
to
did indeed.
Kisharawar. That's why there's no need for me to join them
I've talked
to
a
do
lot
useful
about it at the
research.
start of the stream.
I'd rather stay in
So I don't want to
Rabatat.
harp on it too much,
It's
but
much
needless
more
to say, I will
convenient
not
for me
be
to
buying the
access
game.
materials I need for my research here.
Unless they add, you know, her as DLC
Still,
or something.
The funding that Kisharawar has offered me is so hard to get in Ravatat. Perhaps if this collaborative project goes smoothly, I can even ignore Haravatat and ask for a higher budget directly from the Academia. Oh, I could come up with lots of ideas. With Anissa's help, 2 days will be enough for our work. However, I'm still undecided as to the style of the reference book's text and illustrations.
Yeah, there was no sign of her in the trailer, or the game's UI, or the cover or anything. And long before it got announced, rumor had it that she was not going to be included. Ditto for the answer. I don't know for sure. I'm less sure about that one, and that one could also very easily be added as DLC compared to her. But yeah, the answer is also apparently not in. So it's nothing that anyone likes. If that's the case, it is deadass just a pure remake of the vanilla version of P3. You know, the actual worst version. Simple and fun, Farazan. Simple and fun.
You're right. If no one understands the reference book, it doesn't matter how detailed it is.
Call me bitter, but the UI, it's a little boring, honestly. The regular menus are fine with like the little like underwater transition, like that's kind of neat. But the battle UI honestly looks really boring. It doesn't seem like it has the revolver gimmick or like anything that made the original kind of stand out.
It's better to make it simpler and fun so that children will be interested in the subject.
Exactly.
It'll also make it easier for me to recruit students in the long run.
Aruto!
Thank you. I'll take your opinion into account.
I miss him.
See you in 2 days.
Might make another version at full price. I've seen people still talking about that. It would honestly not surprise me. Yeah, no FemC in the base game or as DLC, but in fucking 2 years they released Persona 3 Re-2. Some bullshit like that. Why underwater? Because blue. Because water is blue and they couldn't think of anything else original. Like, it's a neat effect, but it's also not necessarily, you know, thematically appropriate in any way. I don't particularly think of water when I think of Persona 3. But they had to do something. They had to come up with some kind of new transition. They couldn't just copy P5's whole cloth, much as they probably wanted to.
Oh, you're here. We're just starting to set up the venue.
We've called up everyone we possibly could have.
It does take place on an island.
This is going to be quite the event.
It does take place on an island, but like besides the beach episode, there's really nothing about it that... There's nothing huge about it being on an island that affects the plot, or really ties into any themes.
My masterpiece
Just kind of happens to be the setting.
After all, let's see what the Academia shall say about it this time. And if we activate this little mechanism just like that,
and this time we don't bore the children
will
to death.
appear at the top of the cane.
Thank God.
Oh, I see. I thought it came out of thin air. It's amazing.
If the mechanism was bigger, you could make a rabbit appear, right?
Then you can't use a cane. Could you switch it out with a hat or something?
You're applying what you learned creatively. Not bad. Let's look at the next page.
Oops.
If you fold an origami bird like this, it'll fly further and more stably.
Whoa. You can make a
They do a
mechanism
P4
using
make.
just a piece of paper?
All out attack animation. Static.
The principles at
members
play
show
are
up.
even more important than the parts
Each
that
in
make
a
up a
large
mechanism.
blast. That could be funny.
These are pretty cool. I'm tempted to try them out.
I don't
I'm
think
not
that'll
that
happen
interested
for a
in
while,
toys,
though, if ever.
But if they'll be beneficial for children's development.
Everyone, we have paper prototypes and craft materials that you can use to make your own toys. Come try them out.
This is such a well-prepared event. I'll give it a go.
But we want to play too.
Xenoblade 2 stuff on redeem.
We have a
Oh,
lot of
the
paper
profile
prototypes
pics? Cool.
and craft materials. All
I might pick up a
feedback is
Mithra.
also welcomed.
Maybe one of the rare blades, depending on if they have any of the blades.
My origami bird flew further this time.
Yeah, I thought I heard
Professor
Tatsu for a
Farazan?
second. I did.
How can I make
But no, I
Moon
don't
fly
think so.
further?
Ahem. Just madam will do. Maybe in the future, you may indeed get the chance to call me Professor.
At the very least, there's a half dozen SOT YouTubers talking about the trailer dissecting the meaning by the water aesthetic of the menus. It makes a lot of sense. Also, Atlas sitting there watching. Damn, why didn't we think of that? Exactly, yeah. No, like, you could definitely, you could make that work if, like, Persona 3 had more budget. Like, you could do some really cool imagery and, like, parallels or whatever with death and drowning and whatnot. You could do like, you could do the same stuff with, the MC that, X8 did with, Parado in that one episode that I won't get into and won't spoil for anybody because Kamen Rider X8 is Kino. But, it didn't, the original didn't have anything like that, and it seems like they're not adding any new anime cutscenes, so... I deadass think that it's just, 1, it's blue, and 2, it looks cool.
You may wish to pay attention to these few details. Here, for example. All right, try it again.
I've thought about this stuff a lot because I use a lot of
farther.
drowning and ocean and water
Madam
bullshit
Farazan, will we learn
in my
origami
head
at the
stories.
Academia?
I know what I'm doing.
Of course you will. If you become a researcher, you can explore any field you like to your heart's content.
Yeah, we already talked about that too, JC. I hate to say it, because again, whatever you may think about Vika Mignani as a person, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm personally still kind of like whatever on the whole thing. At the end of the day, all I really care about is his. He's a good voice actor. He's done some fine roles. Junpei is one of my favorite characters. Junpei is one of my favorite roles of his. And the thought of anybody else voicing him makes me very sad, okay? I saw a shitpost saying I can't wait for Johnny Young Bosch to play him, and yeah, it's probably gonna be that, and I'm already sad. I love Johnny, but just, god fucking damn it, it's not gonna be the same. I'm with you, yeah, like, I literally can't imagine Junpei being voiced by somebody else. It was a very, very iconic performance.
In the future, if you want, you can even become one of my students.
But Mom and Dad said that there are 6 Darshans in the Academia. Wait,
I still crack up watching the Junpei's Believe It or Don't
teaches about mechanisms in origami?
the horror story bullshit. It's real good.
In this case, it wouldn't be Haravatat.
I know. We need to choose Kasharawar.
Huh?
I
I don't like
attend
that one.
Kasharawar in the future and fold even better origami birds.
I want to make even more awesome mechanisms.
Aw.
Actually, the other Darshans do have their own specialties too. For example, Haravatat specializes in... Pay attention, children.
Dude, they're playing. Let them have fun.
How did this happen?
What if we end up in a Darshan we don't like? Does that mean that we won't get to learn about the things we do like?
Kind of wild anyone's excited for a remake with less content and different voices. Well, because a lot of people are dumbasses and or sexist who think that FemC is the worst thing ever and that she shits all over the game's themes or something or yada yada. Well, thank you for the follow. People are assholes, and the only people who are excited for a game with literally less content in it are, I will stand by that, complete assholes, like I said. Because even if it were the opposite and the answer wasn't included, I'd still be pissed off. I wouldn't be boycott levels of pissed off, but I would be like, yo, what the fuck? That's a thing that some people like. Don't release a definitive version of your game without it.
No, that won't happen. Take me, for example. I'm a researcher from Haravatat, but I research mechanisms. See? The only person able to restrict your curiosity as a researcher is you.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Don't think there's any coming
Not
back,
really.
unfortunately.
Huh. It's all right. You still have a long road ahead of you. Now, do you want to learn about some other machines? Let me tell you a story about pressure-based mechanisms and elemental monuments.
There's a discussion to be had about what she contributes, because God knows you weren't paying attention. Alright, I'm gonna spell this out, because a lot of people seem to not pick up on this. Hey guys, did you know that there are other ways to be depressed and sad about the fact that you're gonna die and shit, besides just being emo? Do you know about a little thing called a sad clown? Did you know that sometimes people have to act perky and happy and upbeat like FemC just to get themselves through the day and life? To not crack under the pressure of reality? Did you know that? Did you know that there's another side to that there coin? Can't relate!
Not again.
That's very wholesome. We saved the children, thank God. I feel lightheaded. Why does everything taste like copper? That's what she contributes. QED, you're welcome. I solved the mystery. What do I win? Looking forward to the relationships not being forced? I guarantee you they will still force you to fuck every girl. No cap.
It's good to get out and stretch.
Junpei, sorry, what about Junpei? What about my boy? She does kind of fuck up the things with Shinji. She does fuck up the thing with Shinji. I will fully admit that. I do not like the way she changes Shinji socially, and I've gone on record saying that. I've specifically said that I will not date Shinji in my playthrough of it specifically because I don't like that aspect. But again, that's why you just don't date him, Fivehead. It's optional. It's like the same people who it's like the people who are trying to say she shouldn't be in the game because she's a pedophile because of the Ken bullshit. Like, nobody actually willingly dated Ken, my dudes. Or a couple people probably did, but they're fucking weirdos.
Relax once in a while.
And should not be given the time
People
of day.
aren't made to stay cooped up inside all the time.
I did pick the right thing, right? Also, literally remove the Ken stuff, right? Exactly. Yes, yeah. Like, oh man, you can do one thing. That means it's canon. Like, no. That means Japan is fucking weird. And includes stupid shit sometimes that no sane human being would actually want to do. Shut the fuck up. You don't mind about the girls will turn on you if you don't spend a single day with them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the whole reason it's so easy to fuck up social links or break social links in that game is because they force you to date every girl. If not for that, that game would not be nearly as much of a pain in the ass to 100%.
You're back!
Ah, how was your journey through the desert? Wait, where's Madame Farazan?
And this time we tell the truth. Because we're good noodles.
Oh no. She finally got to reunite with an old friend from 100 years ago. But...
As a researcher, she could perhaps accept it. However, as a friend, student, and a daughter, we should give her some time. Let's just wait for her here. And in the future, I hope that we can be here to support her as her new friends.
Old friends and new friends and even a bear. Yeah, I agree, Bess. Once again, when I do play it, I will show that scene because I do like the Shinji romance, but yeah. Yeah, I won't commit to it because I do agree that it's that part specifically is definitely against the themes of the games. It is actually even more fucked up than if things have just happened normally.
What? Is there to be no welcoming party?
We've all been waiting for you, Madame Farazan.
That's more like it. Now, here are some components I brought back from the desert. Switch these out with the ones Karkata is using right now, and it'll be back in ship shape. Huh? Why do you all look so solemn? Come now. Liveliness befits youngsters more.
Madame Farazan, did these parts come from...
Come now. I thought that you must have encountered some major problem. This isn't something you have to worry about. Well, it looks like you already know everything, but no need to feel bad. Like I said before, as researchers, we must learn to accept our failures. Tamimi had been operating beyond capacity for a century, and I'm unable to repair it with my current abilities. Not even with these parts. It would thus be much better to use them to extend Karkata's lifespan. As a senior, it is only right that I do something for the people who come after me. That holds true for both researchers and machines. Besides, I didn't say that I would be giving you these parts for free. They will only be used for Karkata temporarily. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to help me with my research. I'll be sure to revive Tamimi once I've fully deciphered and replicated the creations of the ancient civilization.
Unable to keep talking to you because it's broke or whatever. Yeah, no, that's awful.
Me too. Although, I'm not sure if I'll be much help.
I will say, I do think they'll still force you to date every girl. I think they might get rid of broken social links. Because, you know, the Persona 5 babies will complain about, about it being too hard. If that's a thing that can happen.
Thank you. If they could remodel Tamimi successfully even back then, there's no reason why we won't be able to do even better. And when that day comes, I'll be sure to say, welcome home, Tamimi.
Oh, bad timing, because that was very wholesome, but I'm sorry. This image of Sephiroth. Judas. Alright, okay. I'm glad she didn't get pissed. I was almost expecting that to be a bad ending, since she seemed pretty happy with us actually not telling him where the parts came from in the other one. But that's wholesome. That is. Oh. Alright. Lost her old friend, but we fixed Darkana. Alright, that one went by insanely quick. Good God. That was even shorter than Layla's. I went backwards. I went backwards with them, but, Kave's took like 4 hours, Layla's like 3.5, and, Farazan's only, like 2.5. That's crazy. Alright, I'm not complaining. You saw the trailer for Rebirth? How Hideki Anno is it? On a scale of 1 to Rebuild of Eva 3. Solus as expected does not surprise me. What do you got? Oh, God. Oh, God. Danganronpa summer game. Never, ever. Maybe. I don't know. I'm happy for them. I'm glad they're having fun. Ow! Alright. It's 10 o'clock. Not too bad. That's right. I started a little late. The broken social link feels like a rightful punishment for a bad thing. It does, but it's a rightful punishment. But when you have no choice... But when you have no choice, it's kind of like, Rebuild 2? Rebuild 2 was good, though. Rebuild 2 was off the rails in a good way. Because it was like, oh man, all that stuff you hate about Ava? No. Punch. And then it was 3 that was like, nah. What if we just didn't? Not for you? I don't understand. I'd love to know your further thoughts on why you didn't like Rebuild 2. I thought Rebuild 2 was fucking great. It's 3 that shat the bed. And alright. Okay. I can argue about that. I can argue about that some other time. Alright, I guess it's gonna be another short stream. There's, not really anything else I can do in this game. Star Rail is also done until they actually unlock the new companion quest. I forgot he's just in a cube in here. MK1? Sure, I can do that real quick. Alright, let me go ahead and end the recording now. Farazan's pretty cool. I appreciate the fact that she actually did have some depth to her. I was kind of worried. Like, I didn't hate her based on her role in the event, but she, she definitely was kind of a one-trick pony, and the, because I didn't know why she had the shtick of like, oh, you youngsters. It was just a little weird. Knowing the full context and actually feeling really bad for her. And realizing that she actually left friends and family behind. Oof. Pretty pog. Alright. I don't know when the hell we're gonna be back with this game. Probably. I assume there'll be some kind of new big event in the next patch. I know the next patch is otherwise filler with no new, like, story quest or anything, I don't think, but, I'm sure there'll be some kind of new voiced event like this that we'll do. Otherwise, it's just the waiting game until Fontaine. Like I said, I don't really have any plans to pull for anything. We're doing nothing but reruns, so... just gonna keep stockpiling, boys. Alright.
Where's my...
Thank you. Shut up, Kave. Stop thinking about Al. It's not funny. Or homoerotic. Thank you all very much for joining. Special thanks to Fusion, Ninja, Go-Kart tier patrons, Vroom Vroom. If you want to help support... Farazan having the same backstory as Fry from Futurama, check out links in the description. Love you guys. Bye-bye.